Mother Nature sure cranked up the heat on Wisconsin dads, delivering one of the hottest Father's Days here in years. Ann Sterling joins us from the newsroom with a closer look at the impact this heat is having.
It certainly was a hot one, Katie, a day where you wanted to jump in the pool. Dads we talked to say today they love spending time outside, but sometimes enough is enough and you just need to come indoors. With temperatures hovering in the mid-90s this Father's Day, families looking for relief from the heat moved outdoor events indoors.
You had to have a cold drink in your hand and stay in the shade. It was hot.
Just off Brady Street, Zafiro's Pizza got a huge boost in business because of the heat.
We wanted somewhere to get some AC and get a good za.
The pizza shop is just one place getting a lot of calls. Families rearranging their Father's Day plans to get out of the warm weather.
It's a little cool rather than being outside. Otherwise, the pizza would be real moist with sweating on it.
How can I assist you, ma'am?
On the city's north side, this cooling shelter opened up early this morning.
When I got to work this morning, they had people sitting outside on the curb this morning, so I came in, gave them some bottled water, gave them some breakfast, then I opened up the doors.
Repairers of the bridge is usually closed on Sunday, but wanted to make sure dads without AC had a place to stay cool.
I have fathers that came up and he was out here this morning. They was on their way to church, you know, even though they're homeless. And we also did showers for them also, where they can come in and get cooled off and take showers.
And after a steamy Sunday, more heat on the way tomorrow, although, Katie, it won't be as hot as today. Ann Sterling, today's TMJ4.
All right, thanks, Ann. This hot weather making it harder for firefighters to do their jobs safely. This Milwaukee apartment fire started around 8 tonight. Residents were evacuated from the building at 28th and Wisconsin. First responders are busier than usual because of the heat as well. Brandon Rook checked in with Bell Ambulance Services, which saw 30% more emergency calls than normal this weekend.
Who's most affected by this?
Children and the elderly. They don't have the natural mechanisms to deal with this heat. People with existing medical conditions, they're the most at risk in this type of heat.
That's why Bell Ambulance has brought in extra staff to answer the increase in calls. Crews are everywhere this weekend in Milwaukee. What are the most common heat-related calls you guys are receiving?
We're getting right now a heat exposure, so people are getting weak, they're getting dehydrated because they're sweating too much.
So to help, each truck is stocked with lots of hydration, not only for families, but also for crews. With temperatures dipping into the 90s, it didn't stop these players from playing the game they love.
As far as the hot weather goes, yeah, this is definitely our hottest game so far.
Wyatt Wilderman says the heat is great for hitting.
Oh yeah, I enjoy it. As a guy who swings a bat, I would rather have it be super hot than super cold.
And it's also good for taking a dip in the pool.
I'm actually probably enjoying it more than him. Yeah, it feels good. We're cool enough. We can't stay inside with the AC all day, right?
That was Brandon Rook reporting. Bell Ambulance plans to have extra crews out tomorrow as the heat continues. Well, despite this heat, families could not miss the chance to bike ride in the middle of city streets today. Roads were blocked off to cars on Milwaukee's south side for Cyclovia, the annual free event to promote biking, exercise, and getting out in our city. Organizers did come prepared.
We've been walking around and handing out ice cold water, not only to the people that are joining from the community, but also to the vendors that are around, because we want everyone to stay hydrated, because it is a pretty hot one today.
Staying hydrated, definitely one of the most important things you can do in this heat. We've set up a link with other hot weather safety tips from the city of Milwaukee. You can find it at tmj4.com/links. A man was critically injured this morning when he was hit by a car while riding his bike. It happened on County Highway O at Galway Road in Washington County. The 51-year-old was taken to the hospital by Flight for Life. The driver of the car did stay on the scene and is cooperating with the investigation. At least 3 cars were involved in this crash on Milwaukee's north side. Police were called to the scene at 76th and Good Hope just before 10 o'clock this morning. At least one person had to be extricated from one of those vehicles. No word yet on the severity of injuries. The National Weather Service confirms a small tornado touched down near Portage in Columbia County last night. This is video of the EF0 tornado forming about 4 miles north of Poynette. It only stayed together for about 2 minutes before dissipating. No one was hurt, and there are no reports of damage. And people who live in the Upper Peninsula are recovering from heavy rain and flash flooding. There's a lot of damage. The water washed out roads, making some impassable. Rain started shortly after midnight and more than 6 inches accumulated in just a matter of hours. A showdown is expected in Washington over a policy separating children from their parents at the U.S.-Mexico border. NBC's Jennifer Johnson has more on the growing backlash.
What do we want? Justice! A march for family reunification in Tornillo, Texas.
Stand up, fight back!
Where children separated from their parents as they crossed over the border are now housed in tents.
A lot of them are escaping murder, rape, and all sorts of horrors down there. And all they want to do is get to a safe place for their kids.
A bill stopping the separation practice will be brought to Congress this week.
This is inhumane. I'd like to say it's un-American, but it's happening right now in America.
President Trump heads to Capitol Hill Tuesday to talk immigration reform with House Republicans, but he blames the Democrats.
I hate the children being taken away. The Democrats have to change their law. That's their law.
But Attorney General Jeff Sessions enacted the zero tolerance policy in April, leaving nearly 2,000 children in shelters, their parents in jail.
If I commit a crime and I am put in jail, my 4 children are separated from their mother because we don't have a policy. Or why would you want the children in jail with their parents? You want them in a facility.
Even Republicans say parents who come to a legal port of entry with claims of asylum are not supposed to lose their children.
And the administration needs to put an end to that right off.
The Trump administration denies it's using the children as hostages to get its border wall. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News, Washington.
Thanks, Jennifer. And looking ahead, starting tomorrow, you can help save a life while getting a free day at the zoo. The Red Cross is holding the 13th annual Milwaukee County Zoo Blood Drive this week. Anyone that comes and donates blood tomorrow or Tuesday gets free admission along with free parking and childcare. That blood drive runs from 9 to 3 on Monday and Tuesday. The zoo was free to all dads today in honor of Father's Day. So was Discovery World, the Harley-Davidson, and Milwaukee Public Museums. Over in Sherman Park, an annual picnic provides some quality time for dads and their kids to hang out. That event, the food, and all the activities were free. It's organized by Fathers for Progress, which works to mentor men and strengthen families.
It brings this whole community together. As you can see, it's a very diverse group of people out here wanting to celebrate fathers, bring in information to families, things of that nature. That is the best thing, uplifting men from our community who are fathers.
This year marks 30 years of that annual Father's Day picnic. Still ahead, nearly 24 people are injured, the latest on a mass shooting at an art show out east early this morning. Plus, a man accused of scamming Walmart out of more than $1 million. How he did it and how he got caught. And coming up new at 10:30, imagine retiring in your 30s and traveling around the world. How one couple is making that a reality. Firefighters in Northern California are fighting to stay ahead of a wildfire there. The Oregon fire started yesterday as a small brush fire, but quickly spread to 40 acres. So far, no structures have been damaged and no evacuations ordered. Investigators still not sure what started that fire. New details tonight about a mass shooting at a popular art festival in New Jersey. Dan Scheneman has the latest on the investigation.
The shooting started just before 3 a.m. at a crowded arts festival.
And then all of a sudden, about 10 shots rang out slightly inside the door. It was like pow, 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 pow.
Police estimate as many as 1,000 people were in the area when the shooting started. More than 20 people were hurt. 17 of them suffered gunshot wounds.
The preliminary investigation reveals that multiple individuals attending the Art All Night event opened fire within the venue. And to this date and time, multiple weapons have been recovered.
Investigators say one suspect, Tahij Wells, was killed. He was just released from prison. Another suspect, 23-year-old Amir Armstrong, is hospitalized and facing a weapons charge.
The shooting appears to be related to several gangs having neighborhood gangs from here in the city of Trenton having a dispute at the venue.
This all happened at a popular fundraiser for local artists.
Art All Night is has become quite a tradition, quite a touchstone here in Trenton, and it's just awful that it was broken up like this so awfully in the middle of the night.
The investigation is ongoing, and Trenton becomes the latest community to face tragedy. Dan Scheneman, NBC News.
And investigators say a man injured in the shooting is at a local hospital, and he's believed to be a suspect in the case. This man, 23-year-old Thomas Fruitacre, is accused of scamming more than $1 million from Walmart stores around the country. Police say he did it by making fraudulent returns. For example, he would buy computers, remove important parts from them, then return the computers for a full refund. A worker at an Arizona store became suspicious and called police. Now to this heartwarming story out of Italy. Patience and quick thinking helped these firefighters rescue 2 little kittens that were stuck in a plastic pipe. The first responders used string and smaller pieces of that pipe to pull the kittens out. The whole process took about an hour, and both kittens are doing fine tonight. Still ahead, Alicia Wilson times out the chance for strong storms and when we'll get some relief from this heat. Plus, a major ice melt in Antarctica, what's happening there, and why scientists say this is a huge problem. A volcanic eruption threatens wildlife in the Galapagos Islands off the coast of Ecuador. The volcano began spewing out lava and clouds of gas thousands of feet into the sky this weekend. It sits on an island that's uninhibited by people, but filled with marine wildlife. Now to a new study on climate this week that's shocking scientists who study global warming trends. The key finding involves a major ice melt in Antarctica that's happening much faster than first thought. Ann Thompson has the details.
Ominous developments at the bottom of the Earth.
Look at that.
The melting of the massive Antarctic ice sheet speeding up, according to a new study, tripling in the past decade, causing sea levels to rise faster today than any time in the past 25 years. The culprit, climate change. Greenhouse gases heating up the water and air when we burn coal, oil, and gas.
A lot of these glaciers have been speeding up in recent times in response to a warmer ocean.
Dr. Eric Rignot is one of the authors of the study published in this week's Nature. Using satellite surveys, scientists from more than 40 international groups found Antarctica shed 3 trillion tons of ice between 1992 and 2017, adding 0.3 of an inch to sea level rise. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but if the trend continues, Rignot says we could see 3 feet of sea level rise by the end of the century, reshaping America's coast.
It will be a sort of flooding that's not going to recede, flooding of streets and neighborhoods that's not going to go away once the water evaporates.
Today, most of the ice loss comes from West Antarctica, where 2 glaciers are in rapid retreat and an ice shelf collapse in the Antarctic Peninsula. Scientists say we can slow down the melting if we move to cleaner energy sources to keep the ice and seas where they belong. Ann Thompson, NBC News, New York.
And usually it's cooler by Lake Michigan, but not today. Lakefront communities saw temperatures well into the 90s. Here's a look at people braving the heat at the Lakefront Festival of Art outside the Milwaukee Art Museum. That is always a great event. Storm Team 4 now. Temperatures still pretty hot tonight, but a cool down is getting closer. Relief is in sight. Alicia Wilson is here with the Storm Team forecast.
That's right, Katie. We got some big changes headed our way. It's going to be kicking off earliest tomorrow morning for some, with some isolated showers and possibly even some thunderstorms. Over the next 12 hours, though, we've got mostly clear skies now, but as we head towards the overnight, we will see the cloud cover on the increase and the temperatures staying very warm into the upper 70s and lower 80s. So that's just a hint, again, at how warm it's going to be for your Monday, but that's going to be before the arrival of the showers and thunderstorms. Right now, we're at 83 in Milwaukee. We've got a southwesterly wind now at 10 miles per hour, and the dew point still very sticky into the 70s. And of course, it was a hot one today as we climbed into the 90s, still sitting at 79 right now in Waukesha. It's 81 in West Bend and 70 in Burlington and Lake Geneva. So for the most part, we're clear as far as any rain goes, but out towards our west and Beaver Dam a little bit farther south back towards Madison, that's where we are starting to see some isolated showers. But check this out, the radar is kind of lit up like a Christmas tree right now from Green Bay back towards Wausau into La Crosse at this time, all due to these scattered showers and strong storms. Now you can see all of the lightning associated with this. This is out of ahead of a cold front that's going to be sliding our way for tomorrow, and around this time tomorrow we'll be dealing with our own known rounds of showers and thunderstorms, which could be strong to severe at times. So we'll kick it off tomorrow morning at 6:30. You start to see some of those showers and storms clipping parts of Fond du Lac on into the northern half of Sheboygan County around 8:30. Some widely scattered showers and storms. Then around lunchtime, we'll get a bit of a break and start to see things picking back up again between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. Some moderate to heavy rainfall in Milwaukee. That spreads farther towards the south as we head towards your afternoon and evening commute and continues right on through the overnight, as we'll see some lingering showers right on into your Tuesday. So it's going to be a wet go for us with those showers sticking around right on through midday on Tuesday, then becoming a little bit more isolated. So here are the main threats that we'll see for tomorrow. Some heavy rain, some strong damaging winds will be possible, and a low threat for hail and tornadoes, at least right now. Of course, this time of the year, you can't rule out the possibility of an isolated tornado. Even earlier tonight, we saw a tornado warning for the Green Bay area. As far as rainfall goes, we're going to pick up anywhere from 1/2 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rainfall from Port Washington on into Waukesha, Milwaukee, a little over 6/10 of an inch. And it looks like farther towards the west, that's where we'll see over an inch of rainfall. So heavy rain will be the main concern for tomorrow. Of course, we'll have to watch out for the ponding on the roadways. Again, for tonight and tomorrow morning, upper 70s, lower 80s. It'll be a warm and muggy start. Isolated showers mainly for our northern counties, and then those will spread farther towards the south as we head towards the afternoon. Still going to be a hot one before the rain arrives. We'll be up to 90 with those showers and thunderstorms mainly arriving in the afternoon. Some of those could be strong to severe. And here we go. Finally, a cool down on Tuesday and Wednesday, and for the rest of the week for that matter, as we'll make it back down into the low to mid 70s with our next best chance for rain arriving on Friday. And that continues into the first half of next weekend. So be weather aware tomorrow for strong to severe thunderstorms.
Okay, kind of an unsettled week, it feels like.
It is. We're just all over the place. We're hot, we're humid, and then now we got the storms to worry about.
All right, well, thanks, Alicia. Coming up in sports, why this Brewers pitcher threw up on the mound during today's game at Miller Park. Hear from him and Craig Counsell next. But first, here's a look at tonight's winning Super Cash numbers: 12, 16, 27, 29, 32, 34, and no doubler.
The Milwaukee Brewers came up short in the final game of their series against the Phillies earlier today at Miller Park, but there was something a little unusual in their loss today. Down 2-0, Eric Thames would get the Brewers on the board with this solo shot, which made it a 2-1 ball game. Now the Brewers would tie the game up in the third inning. Lorenzo Cain with a big RBI double. That's trouble for the Phillies. That bounces off the wall. Christian Yelich showing off that speed. We are knotted up at 2-all. The Phillies would jump back up in the lead with this 2-run shot by Maikel Franco in the fourth inning. Philly back on top, 4-2. Let's take it to the fifth inning. Travis Shaw comes through with a double to right that scores Cain, and now we've got a 4-3 ball game. Same inning, Jesus Aguilar with a flare single to right that drops. Here comes Travis Shaw with the tying run. We're knotted up at 4-all. Sixth inning, Nick Williams put the Phillies back up with this single that scores 2 runs. Philly up 6-4. Weird things happening in the eighth inning when Brewers reliever Adrian Hauser threw up twice in that inning on the mound. He would stay in and finish the inning. And the Brewers making a game of it, down 10-5 in the ninth. Aguilar connects with this solo home run, and then Thames blasts a 3-run shot to right center, his second of the game, but it wasn't enough. The Phillies take the series with a 10-9 win. Here's Hauser on how he got sick.
I think it was just a little combination of traveling this morning and not having a lot of food. I mean, I was trying to stay hydrated in the bullpen and got ready pretty quick. And it's pretty hot here compared to Colorado Springs, so I think it just got all combined and got me.
He wasn't under the weather at all. It was, early wake-up call, not enough food, heat, probably a little nerves from getting to the big leagues today. So, there wasn't very much coming out. It wasn't a food thing.
Kind of feel bad for him. Now on to a fun story. When the Brewers asked Josh Hader, Jeremy Jeffress, and Brent Suter to do a spoof of the Dumb and Dumber movie at Miller Park, they jumped on board. But what they didn't know was how popular it would get.
If you haven't seen the tribute to the Dumb and Dumber movie that the Brewers just put out,
You're missing solid gold television. And the stars of this ride-along played baseball for a living, and they killed it.
We usually don't pick up hitchhikers, but I'm going to go with my instincts on this one. Saddle up, partner.
They deserve an Oscar for this one.
My wife said I've been practicing for that video my whole life because I just always would do it. Even if people weren't laughing, I'd still keep doing like already, like all that stuff. So yeah, it was just a dream role for sure, and I love it. If we can get him out to a game, that'd be even more of a dream come true. So we're working on it now.
Pitchers Brent Suter and Jeremy Jeffers picked up Josh Hader in a bullpen cart, and it was like magic. Their moment at Miller Park.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Guys!
Took you right back to the scene starring Jim Carrey back in the 1990s when they picked up their own hitchhiker.
They used us three, and I guess our personalities just fit with the roles, and once we started it, man, it was so funny. It took us a little bit because we couldn't stop laughing.
Double stamped it, no erases.
Cannot. Triple stamped it, no erases, touch blue, make it.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Suter. You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
But how did you become the driver, though, man? Why did you have to be the driver?
Being a driver, I guess, because Hader's personality was, dry that day, I guess, and Suter's been practicing that from a baby. You know what I'm saying? And I guess they wanted me in there for, just a little bit more excitement.
Ready, JJ? Mock.
Yeah.
Ing.
Yeah.
And once the Brewers released it, it went viral in a hurry. It was so funny that even the great Jim Carrey tweeted out at the Brewers and Suter, saying he was tickled stupid when he saw it.
I grew up just admiring him. He's my favorite comic for sure growing up, and I always did his impersonations growing up, so it was really a no-brainer to say yes. And then for him to actually shout me out on Twitter was something else, man. I went to the bathroom mid-game against Philadelphia, and everyone's coming up, dude, Jim Carrey just tweeted at you. I was like, what? Just about had a heart attack.
Are you surprised about how many people are talking about this? Jim Carrey tweeted it out, TMZ's talking about it. I mean, all you did was roll around the park.
I know. It's a blessing, man, because we try to come to the park and play this game and try to get our adrenaline's going, and then to do stuff like that and have fun with it, and make people laugh. It's a blessing, man.
Hey, Suter, look, there's some people on the ride too.
Pick them up.
That's good stuff. On to the final round of the U.S. Open, where Brooks Koepka shot a final round 69 to become the first back-to-back winner of the U.S. Open in 29 years. He won his first title at the Open last year at Erin Hills. And that is sports for now. We're back with more news after the break.
Showers and thunderstorms on the way for Monday. That'll be after we heat it up again into the upper 80s and lower 90s. We start to cool it down, though, on Tuesday with those scattered showers wrapping up around lunchtime, then mid to upper 70s for Wednesday and Thursday.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight at 10. Don't worry, we're going to be right back after this short break with more at 10:30.
Right now from Milwaukee, this is today's TMJ4 live at 10:30.
The hot weather making it harder for firefighters to do their jobs safely. This Milwaukee apartment fire started around 8 o'clock tonight. Residents were evacuated from the building, which is located at 28th and Wisconsin. No word yet on damage or the cause. The hot temperatures keeping first responders extra busy. Bell Ambulance says emergency calls were up 20 to 30% this weekend. The company brought in extra staff to answer those increased calls, mostly for things like heat exposure and dehydration. Cooling shelters also staying busy over the weekend. The repairers of the Breach homeless shelter on Milwaukee's north side opened early this morning to help people cool down. They offered bottles of water and breakfast, as well as air conditioning and cold showers. Imagine dealing with today's heat while dressed from head to toe in wool costumes from the World War II era. That's what these folks did this afternoon in Menominee Falls for the first annual World War II Days reenactment.
Just make sure people stay hydrated, get shade, don't stand when you can sit, don't sit when you can lie down, and just keep people rested unless they're on duty.
World War II Days benefits the Old Falls Village Historical Park. Storm Team 4 now, hard to imagine wearing wool out there today, and it's still pretty hot tonight. When will the temperatures start to cool down? Well, Alicia Wilson is here with that answer.
Well, it's not going to be tonight. We've got a warm and sticky night headed our way. But look at the next 12 hours. You can see that we'll be stuck into the lower 80s right on through the early overnight hours, then briefly drop down into the upper 70s right around the time we hit sunset, then back into the lower 80s around 8 o'clock. We're expecting some scattered showers and thunderstorms to head our way as early as tomorrow afternoon, but some of us will start to get in on those a little bit earlier as tomorrow morning for some. 83 right now in Milwaukee. We're still seeing that south to southwesterly wind at 10 miles per hour, so that's pumping in the warmth and some moisture as well. It's 74 in Port Washington, 81 in Sheboygan, and 79 currently in Waukesha. We've got a couple of scattered showers starting to work their way into parts of Beaver Dam and a little bit farther south once you get into Dane County there. But overall, the big storm system, or the most storms, are well off to our north and back towards our northwest, all the way into Green Bay, where they've had some strong to severe thunderstorms. You can see the lightning associated with those all ahead of our next cold front. This is going to be cooling us down, but first we'll have to deal with some showers and thunderstorms, which could be strong to severe, especially tomorrow afternoon and evening. Here we are at 6:30 tomorrow morning. You can see some of those showers and storms clipping Fond du Lac right on into the northern half of Sheboygan County. Farther south, we're going to be dry for the most part, but that's going to be up until around 9 o'clock where we start to see those pushing their way into West Bend. Then between 10 and lunchtime, we'll get a break. Then around 3:30, we start to see those showers and thunderstorms firing up again and continuing to push farther south as we head towards 6 o'clock in the evening. So widespread showers and thunderstorms by then. Heavy rain, that's going to be the main threat, along with some strong damaging winds. And this is going to continue into tomorrow's overnight hours and early Tuesday morning, but all of that should be wrapping up by the time we get into your Tuesday afternoon. So a bit of a soaking rain headed our way over the next 2 days or so. But the main threats for tomorrow are going to be the heavy rain, damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. So there's the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms. Hail, a low potential, and isolated tornadoes, of course, they cannot be ruled out. So you have to watch out for that and stay weather aware, especially for tomorrow afternoon and evening. Rainfall totals, they're going to amount up quickly. We'll see anywhere from about 1/2 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rainfall along the lakefront, then higher totals as you get towards Watertown and Whitewater. Even the Dells are going to be picking up upwards of 2 inches of rain, which can easily cause some ponding on the roadways. So we'll kick off tomorrow morning warm and muggy with some isolated showers to the north. We're back up into the upper 80s and lower 90s before the rain arrives. And don't forget, some of those storms could be strong to severe. 7-day forecast, we start to cool it down, especially as we get into your Tuesday afternoon. Mid to upper 70s headed your way for Wednesday and Thursday, and then our next best chance for showers and thunderstorms towards the end of the week on into the first half of the weekend.
All right, thanks, Alicia. Now check this out. Strong winds sending 2 porta potties into the air at a park in Colorado. The video shows them take flight with stuff spraying out of them. Then one crashes onto a van. Parents in the area had to jump on their children to protect them because the wind gusts were so strong. Luckily, no one hurt. The video was posted online and now has over 1 million views. A just plain disturbing find at a fast food restaurant in Oklahoma. A worker at a Wendy's posted this video that appears to show a live mouse in a package of hamburger buns. The employee says she decided to share the footage because management refused to take action.
I just hear mouse, 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 and I'm like, we do not have mice in this store. Like, what? Well, the managers, they're just like, yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah, it's not really that big of an issue.
Wendy's corporate spokespeople said in a statement, we have stringent procedures in place to ensure a safe and well-maintained restaurant. They say a health department inspection on Friday found no violations at that location. McDonald's could be ditching plastic straws, but not without a backup plan. The fast food chain says it will begin testing more eco-friendly alternatives later this year. It's already set to use paper straws across all its restaurants in the United Kingdom and Ireland. The Incredibles 2 flexed its muscles at the box office this weekend. The Disney Pixar film now holds the record for biggest animated film opening ever in the United States. It brought in an estimated $180 million. Ocean's 8 took the second place spot in its second weekend of release with nearly $20 million. And in third place, the R-rated comedy Tag with $14 million. A couple is traveling the country and living on their own terms. Sounds nice, but most of us can't afford that. Kumasi Aaron shows us how they pulled it off.
I'm Steve, this is my wife Courtney, and we live in a 200 square foot Airstream travel trailer.
Steve and Courtney's home may be small, but inside is everything they ever wanted.
That's where I do my thing. Steve does his thing in this desk that we put in.
Not just the office, kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom.
Where we have our closets on either side and above the bed.
But the freedom to live life on their terms.
Is it weird for you guys